Welcome to the Mortgage Broker broadcast, and this week's podcast is all about client retention. Mortgage brokers work so hard to build their brand, build trust with potential clients in order to generate leads. My question is, once that potential client has reached out, do they work as hard to retain them? For me, these are the three main points for client retention. First one is turning those leads into clients. I have a saying that you should follow up until you're told to F off. And what do I mean by that? We've all had those leads that come in, and as soon as that lead comes in, you're on the phone straight away or emailing back that client or potential client, and then you get no reply on the phone and you get no reply to your email. What is your process with those leads? Well, you've called them once, you've emailed them once, they don't get back to you, so you just leave it there. There's no reply, so you just move on to the next one because that's easier. Or do you actually have a process to follow those potential clients up? Do you text them, WhatsApp them, call them at least 3 times, withhold your number? And what I mean by that is withholding your number can sometimes work because once you've contacted a client, you've left them a voicemail for the first time, they've got your number and they'll ring you back when they can. However, if you withhold your number and you keep ringing them, curiosity will get the better of them and they will eventually answer. And even if it's a no, it's a no. You can just move on from that lead. And you know that you've done the most you possibly can to contact that lead and you had the door closed, but that's fine because you've now got closure on that and you can move on to the next one without wasting your time on that one. If you're persistent with them, you're demonstrating that you are persistent as an individual and you'll be just as persistent when you are their mortgage broker. If they don't get back to you, if they don't respond to your emails, if they don't respond to your calls and all the other ways you've tried to contact them, what's your plan next? Do you add them to your marketing plan? At least they're going to get an email from you, a newsletter every month, every 3 months that maintains that contact. They still receive your promotional material. They still get to know you as a mortgage broker. I understand it's easier to focus on the next lead that comes in. However, in my experience, if you have a process in place until that lead either becomes a client or they tell you to go away. So after all your persistence, you do finally speak to that lead, you do your initial call, you might even conduct a fact find. However, that client is not ready right now. What is your plan? Do you just tell them to go away and contact you when they are ready? Do you just move on to the next one? Or do you have a contact strategy in place so they do remember you when the time is right for them? I have signed those types of clients up 2 years after their initial contact based on my continued contact strategy. Those clients become very loyal clients. Those clients will refer you to as many people as they can. So my point is, don't just dismiss it if they're not ready right now. Work with them until they are. So that's point one of turning leads into clients. Point two is keeping hold of those clients for life. You've done a great job. You've sorted the mortgage out. You've done them a bit of protection and the client's moved into the new home. What happens now? What do you do now? Do you wave them goodbye and say, see you in 4.5 years because you're on a 5-year deal? Or do you have a post-completion process to ensure they're a client for life? You tell yourself, I did a great job. They'll remember me in 54 months' time. Guess what? If you do not contact them for the next 4.5 years, there is a good chance they will forget you. Don't give them the opportunity, as it's important to have a post-completion contact strategy. A few things to remember are, on the day they move in, do you send them a completion email thanking them for the business? Do you talk about other ways that you can help them? So third-party referrals is a good way to introduce here, which we're not going to talk about today, and we will do that on a separate podcast, but talk about other ways you can help them. Third-party referral opportunities. Do you send them a new homes card? Is it branded? Some people I know order them and will include a gift voucher for things like Just Eat. So the first night they move in, the first takeaway is on you, which I think is a pretty cool idea, to be fair. Are you asking for a review if they've not done one already? What part of your post-completion process is getting reviews from your clients? 3 months in, do you reach out to your clients? Do you make contact with them just to make sure that now they've moved in, settled in, and is everything going all right? You can make it personal, so talk about kids' schools, things like that, making sure that everybody's settled in. This is also an opportunity to pick up those non-protected cases. So clients now affording the monthly bills, the monthly outgoings. Can they afford that protection plan that didn't get put in place, but everyone knew how important it was? Again, you can drop in third-party referrals at this point. Is the next plan then on birthdays, Christmas? 1 year since moving in, do you reach out to your clients just to drop them a text, send them a message to say, can you believe it's a year since you moved in? And just checking in with your client, checking in, make sure, and just really subconsciously puts to your client that you are their mortgage broker and you are looking after them. So if anybody else comes knocking on the door, anybody else tries to take your business away, tries to poach your client, it's less likely to happen the more contact you have with them. You are just letting them know that you are there. This will also help with referrals as well. Do you ask for referrals on post completion? If you don't have a post completion contract strategy, then the clients are more likely to forget you. And don't take that personal if they do. And the last point, the third point wrapped around all this is process. Yes, as a mortgage broker, you're more than likely to have a sales process of somebody signed up with you to then completion. You'll have a step-by-step process for that. However, what does your process look like from getting a lead to become that client? If you don't have a process, then my advice would be get a process in place. What about post-completion? So they've moved in. Do you have a process for your post-completion as well? Again, it's an important aspect of being a mortgage broker, and it's an important aspect of retaining that client. So just to recap, the three main points for me for client retention is, first of all, follow up on that lead till they become a client. Make sure you're doing everything to retain that client and don't just have a sales process that starts at the sign up and end when the clients move in. Have a process for everything that you do. For me, it's all about contact strategy to retain that client for life. If you want to discuss further the topic in this week's episode,